Last week I travelled to Iceland. Iceland is one of the most beautiful and most spectacular places that I've ever been to. A country with a population of less than 400,000. But what exactly makes Iceland so special, and why does it stand out from everywhere else in the world? Why is it so unique? In this video, I'm going to show you later on in this video exactly what we got up to and how stunning Iceland truly is. But first of all, I'm going to talk about the aspects that made Iceland so special for me and why you should truly go and visit this and experience this firsthand yourself. So I'm going to show you later on how beautiful it is and the scenery and all of that, but why is the nature scenery so good? It's one of those places you see on Instagram and you think, this place, it can't be real. It's one of those places you think, oh, it's got to be photoshopped. I'm never going to see somewhere like this in real life. And I thought that too until I went to Iceland, and I'll put a picture on the screen now of what it truly looked like. Something spectacular. When it comes to scenery, nature, anything along those lines, it is a 10 out of 10, and I honestly don't think I'll go anywhere else in the world where I'll see scenery and anything of this kind of caliber when it comes to being out somewhere in nature. As Iceland, with the mountains, the waterfalls, just the green, the air, just everything about it just felt so just pure and nice to be around, especially when I've been in the UK and seen the downfall of that for so long. So when it came to nature scenery, it was an absolute 10 out of 10. I don't think anywhere in the world probably does compare to that. If there is, then please let me know, and I'd like to experience that later, maybe on in my life. And the second point that I kind of have mentioned is cleanliness. When it comes to going to anywhere, the hotels, the toilets, just out on the streets, in the nature, everywhere was 10 out of 10 when it comes to cleanliness. You didn't see any rubbish on the floors, which is very unusual, especially if you've been to kind of cities in Europe, maybe like Spain and France and Germany, all these kinds of places, the UK especially. There's just litter all over the streets. It's the graffiti, people are just being quite dirty in general. I didn't see this once in Iceland. I guess you could maybe expect that with a population of less than 400,000, but this is probably all down to the way people have been brought up in this country with very high standards, and they don't let stuff like just little things that make such a big difference, especially when you're visiting, like cleanliness. Everywhere was just absolutely spotless, and yeah, another 10 out of 10. And peace, which is something that I think a lot of people truly lack in their life, just having that peace. I always tell you to go out in nature, spend as much time as you can. An hour every day can change your life so much. And just having that kind of peace, obviously with the population being so small, you're kind of walking along the streets, you drive and you don't see cars for miles. Personally, I love that, and being quite introverted, it kind of suits my lifestyle quite a lot. But for some people maybe not so much, but if you are someone who kind of just wants to get away from all the kind of busy, fast-paced life of like the UK or maybe the US, then going to somewhere like Iceland will really give you that peace of mind that you won't get really anywhere else in the world. I don't think there's many countries with it being that can kind of compete. And this links quite closely onto the next point I want to mention, which is safety. Iceland has been voted the most safe country in the world, I think, for the last 2-3 years plus, and you can see exactly why. Due to the population being so small, there's naturally not going to be too much crime. It's actually quite a big country if you look at it on the map, but it's not inhabited as much as it probably looks, with it kind of just being like that outside of the country that is inhabited, if you know what I mean. With the most of it, it's quite just too cold to kind of live in there. I'm not like a naturist or a scientist, so I don't know all the details, but when it came to safety, there's literally no crime in Iceland. It will be an absolute freak of nature if anything does happen. You have houses completely in the sticks wherever you drive along the roads. They'll be miles and miles away from the nearest town or little city in the country. But if you're in the UK, for me, I would personally never feel safe there. But when I was there, I just felt completely safe. I never had any concerns. You never had anyone give you like a funny look, or someone who feels like they've got a knife in their back pocket. Well, I feel so on edge when I've been around the UK recently. So having that safety, that kind of peace of mind as well, yeah, it was really nice to kind of have that. And the next point I want to make, and probably my last one when it comes to positive, because there is one negative that I did have about Iceland, which does make sense, which I'll get onto. The people there were very nice, and I guess you can kind of see why. I did have the kind of impression that maybe they could be a bit depressed, because obviously Iceland, as a lot of you will probably know, is a very cold country, and in the winter they don't see a lot of daylight at all. And with the population, like I've mentioned multiple times in the video, being so extremely low, there's not an abundance of people about. They probably don't have the same kind of network as maybe we have in the UK, the US, etc., etc. So I thought maybe they'll be quite depressed because of this, and it's quite a rich country, so they don't really have too much to work for, and there's not really kind of that battle kind of for survival as there is in like the UK or somewhere. But the people seem very nice, very friendly, very kind of happy people, a lot more kind of subdued and maybe like monotone, maybe more my kind of level people, so I probably got on with them well. They're not like really excitable people like maybe we get in the US and somewhat around the countries, but I really enjoyed kind of speaking to these types of people who speak very good English and very intelligent people. So that was kind of my 5 reasons. I'm not going to call that as the title of the video, but there were 5 big reasons why I really enjoyed my time in Iceland, and somewhere I definitely think I will go back to later on in my life. But the one thing I'm going to tell you, if you are going to go to Iceland, or if you've been before, you'll probably know this, is the cost is the only drawback, and it is quite significant. I would probably say on average, on the money we were kind of spending there, it was probably double what it is in the UK. So say if you pay, I think it was around like £3 most of the time for like a bottle of water, which would be about £1.50 in the UK, and a meal would probably be around £30 or so for a decent meal there, whereas maybe it'd be £15-20 depending on where you are in the UK. Some people might say that's not much, but I think from what I've experienced in the UK and what I experienced in Iceland overall, I'd say it was probably 40%, 50% higher than it is in the UK. It might be a bit different to the US. I know it's a bit different there, but I've never been, so I can't remark on that. But yeah, if you're going to go, make sure you bring a lot of money with you, because it will set you back a bit, but I 100% think it is worthwhile. And I really enjoyed my time. I really felt at peace in Iceland, and somewhere I definitely will be visiting again in the future. I specifically enjoyed going up to the north. If you've been to Iceland, there's like a north and south, and you've kind of got Reykjavik, which is kind of the common touristy place, and which was nice too. However, it was quite rainy there quite a lot of the time, and the nature and kind of the peace was not the same as it was up north. I can't remember exactly the place, but I'm gonna do a separate video on kind of what I got up to in the north, because we spent a few days down in Reykjavik and a few days up north. So I'll kind of show you the difference between them, and you'll probably agree that the north is kind of a lot more kind of nicer to look at, I guess you could see, and there's kind of, it's just a lot more nicer place to kind of be. Not that the south is bad at all by any means compared to most countries. It is very, very nice. But yeah, that's kind of my summary on Iceland. If you have any more questions about it, if you're thinking of travelling or want to know a bit more detail about what to experience, then please do let me know. I've got the video, which you'll see for the rest of this vlog today, will be kind of what I got up to in Reykjavik and at the Blue Lagoon. So I really hope you enjoy that, and yeah, I'll see you at the other side and then the next part of the video. finally in the Blue Lagoon. We've been in Iceland for a few hours now. It's been quite a long day. We got up around 1 AM and Iceland's actually 1 hour behind. So it's probably around 3 or 4 here, and then it will be an hour earlier in the UK. So a very long day. So after this we'll probably just go and get some food, go back to Reykjavik. I think it was about a 40-minute drive to get here. Not really, a lot of it's kind of just countryside, so really nice to just see the nature. Does smell a bit funny here, I think. Had a
sulphur.
Yeah, the sulphur. Had a face mask, which was nice, and just washed that off and just got a drink. So yeah, I think tonight we'll just go back and have some food and get some sleep, because it's been a very long day. It probably will have been up about 22 hours by the time we get to sleep, so it'll be nice to kind of feel fresh again for tomorrow. So yeah, this is the Blue Lagoon, and yeah, a very unique place, and if you come to Iceland, it's something you definitely should experience.
And down there, the trophy.
Something.
So we're here at the national park today. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but the scenery here is very, very pleasant. Got a lot of nature surrounded by it, all the lakes, and it's very, very beautiful to see. We're going to go see some waterfalls next. Hopefully some volcanoes too, that'd be really good. But yeah, it's just really nice just to be out in nature. It makes me want to go off-grid even more. But yeah, it's a very special, unique place. I don't really think there's many places like this in the world. So yeah, it's very, very grateful to see it. So yeah, hopefully we'll show you some more when we get to the waterfalls. But yeah, just at the national park now. Yeah, very impressed with what I see so far. So we are at, as you can see, it's very cold, very blustering today. Very nice to see. I think it's the second largest waterfall in Iceland, but yeah, very nice, very special scenery here. We're just going to go up there next and see what it looks like from there. But yeah, this is, I've never really seen a waterfall like this. Very different from what we see in the UK. Might even be better than Niagara, I would say.